Hello fellow modelers and welcome to my channel. My name is Yannis and this is my first video, the first in a series that I plan to do on an ongoing project which is the building and painting of an Imperial Knight. In the first video of this series, I will start by showcasing a smart method for magnetizing the various parts of this model to utilize all the available weapon options and their accessories. Before starting this project, I checked most of the available magnetization videos out there to use as a starting point of reference from expert modelers demonstrating their fantastic builds. With this video, I would like to present you with a slightly different and smart approach to magnetization that, first, will allow you to fully utilize all the available weapons and accessories of this kit and will allow you to pose the model as you see fit by achieving full 3D motion of the body. Second, it is quite straightforward and easy to follow process. Also, this method applies to other Knights and Titan models due to common parts they share. And last but not least, it will require minimum damage, drilling and modifications to the sensitive plastic parts of the kit. Now, with my wife and daughter asleep, I seized the opportunity to occupy the kitchen table, which I use as a workshop, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. First of all, I have already removed all the pieces from the sprues and neatly organized them into sub-assemblies to make it easier to tackle such a big project. I placed the parts in organizer boxes as they are really good for safely storing and keeping the kit's pieces and assemblies and dividing them according to their actual arrangement, for example the legs, the weapons, the torso, accessories, etc. And I can also place some paper notes inside if I need to write down some important remarks that I do not want to forget later on in the process. This is quite handy because sometimes there can be many days or even weeks between each building phase. Starting with the project, I first went thoroughly through the instruction booklet. This helped me to establish the thought process and building steps, and then I started cutting the pieces and building the assemblies. On the table, I have all the tools I used for this process. When I had all the pieces cut and assembled, I took out my ruler and caliper and I measured the holes and faces of all the parts of interest, writing down the results. This allowed me to specify the size, the type, and the quantities of the magnets that I had to buy. For your convenience, I have listed in the description all the types and sizes of magnets that I used if you want to follow the steps. Let us start with the main body and more specifically with this spherical joint between the body and the lower torso. This is one of the points where the method I will present greatly differentiates from the ones presented in other videos online. For these parts, I prefer to achieve full 3D rotation and motion without drilling or modifying at all any of the plastic parts. In the other methods presented online, this part of the sphere is usually drilled and a disc magnet is fixed there with glue. On the top side, other builders usually fix with various methods another disc magnet to come face to face with the disc magnet below. Now, while this is a good method as it provides the ability to split the Knight in half for transportation, it also allows rotating the body, but only in two-dimensional rotation. This is because the two disc magnets create a face-to-face joint between them, and as a result, 3D motion and rotation are restricted. With the method I will demonstrate, you can achieve both full 3D rotation and motion, as well as avoid drilling the pieces. Personally, if I can avoid drilling or heavily modifying the plastic parts, I will, because if I make a mistake and damage the parts, it can be difficult and time-consuming to correct. This is supported by the fact that models like Knights and Titans are quite expensive and even difficult to find, so better to be on the safe side. So, the solution I propose is this. Inside the lower spherical joint, I have placed a strong conical magnet, this one, which fits perfectly inside. This is a strong 15 by 8 by 8 millimeters conical magnet. For the top spherical joint, I will not use a magnet. Instead, I will use this rectangular piece of metal where I have machined a countersunk hole. For this countersunk hole, I used a 16mm and 9mm drill bits with the 9mm hole being this one at the top. Then I place this metal piece carefully inside the body like this, sitting on top of the spherical joint. And then I am going to glue it here with glue. Now, if you watch carefully, you will see that the 9mm hole is bigger than the existing hole on the plastic part. So now let's put those two pieces together. If you see here, we have achieved a perfect bonding and fit without making any drill or modification to the plastic parts. Also, now we are able to achieve both full rotation between the body and the lower torso, and also full unrestricted 3D rotation. This would not be possible if I had used disc magnets both at the top side and at the bottom side, because they would restrict this tilting, this 3D motion. But now that I have used the conical magnet inside the lower spherical joint and the bare metal piece, I am able to achieve this nice feature and to be able to pose my model when ready as I see fit. It is important to note that it is a very good idea at this point to use strong magnets to create these joints, and this is supported further by the fact that when we will place more magnets on the other parts on the body, like the arms, the weapons, etc., this will add to the overall weight of the model. So it is a good idea to use strong magnets to keep the whole assembly together without falling apart. If I want to allow more 3D rotation, I do not know if for the final assembly I will remove this tiny cylindrical piece from the lower spherical joint on top or not. But even as it is, I'm quite happy with the result. Now let us continue with the arms. Actually, the top side of the arms is the only piece that I have modified to glue the magnet. It is almost exactly the same piece for both the left and right arms. Luckily, the modification was quite easy, so I took out my good Tamiya hobby saw and removed this smaller cylindrical piece by cutting it straight. Then I have used sanding papers of various grades to make the surface smooth in order to glue the magnet. The magnet that I used here is a strong 12 by 2 millimeter neodymium magnet. I did exactly the same thing for both arms. The important thing to note here is that since I placed the first magnet in both the arms assemblies, using this part as the starting point, the placement of the rest of the magnets must be done with caution in terms of polarity. Beware of this process, since a mistake in polarity downwards may be very difficult to correct. Also note that I have used the biggest magnet possible here, and as you can see, the 12 millimeter magnet fits perfectly in the face of this bit here, because as we mentioned, using strong magnets is important to keep the whole assemblies together without them falling apart. Here we have a core part which is common for three weapon options and their accessories: the flamer, the big cannon, and the impulsor. From these three weapon options that share the same body, two of them use the same shield also. We will see how to magnetize all of them and use them neatly. For this part here, the existing hole allows you to fit in place two magnets of 8 mm in diameter glued together for stronger bonding. You can place and glue them together inside directly without modifying this part at all. Just fit in the magnets and glue them. As you can see, the result is perfect. They are coming flush to the top face of this part, and we have a perfect concentric fit with the 12 millimeter magnet on top. Now, for the same piece, the cannon and the flamer have different shields attached to this, as well as different additional cartridge options that can be attached at both its right and left sides, as you can see in the drawings also. So to be able to use them all at will, here is what I did. Having measured the free space inside this part on both sides, I saw that there is a clear flat free square surface of about 15 by 15 millimeters at both sides. So I glued inside here at both ends two square bare metal parts of about 12 by 12 millimeters in dimensions, like these ones. Note that these parts are just metal parts, not magnets, which I found very convenient. For this part, it is better not to glue magnets from the inside, as the magnets are to be attached to the removable cartridges options available that I will demonstrate in a moment. An alternative solution to the square metal parts that I have used and that you can easily find in any hardware store is to use the washers or rings from bolts. They will work exactly the same. So, with the bare metal parts already glued from the inside at both left and right sides, let us move to the removable cartridges of the various weapon options. For this piece here, which is for the flamer option, I have directly glued in place one rectangular magnet 10 by 5 by 3 millimeters, and here you can see how it fits. Perfect fit. and bonding as the magnet is attracted from the cheat bare metal piece inside. The same applies to the accessories and cartridges of the impulsor and the cannon options, as I will also demonstrate. These two are the cartridge accessories for the cannon option, and as you can see, for each part I have glued inside an individual magnet of different type. In this one I have glued directly in place one 5x2 mm disc magnet, and for this one a rectangular 10x5x3 mm magnet. And I have used also, I have glued below it as an extender two tiny parts of styrene that I cut myself from a hobby styrene modeling sheet that you can find in any hobby store, just to make it almost flush to the surface. And let us see how these parts are also placed on the weapon's shared common body. Perfect fit here, and also, as you can see, perfect fit here. And you have easily interchangeable parts without any fitting problem or bonding problem. The same applies also for the cartridge for the impulsor. As you can see here, it's a single piece, perfectly fitting together, not going anywhere. So you can, as you can see, with this approach and method, you can use all the exchangeable cartridges for this body without any problem. Again, I have, for this part, in order to make it flush, I have glued two thin rectangular magnets together. There are two magnets of rectangular ones, 10x5x1 mm in thickness, and they fit perfectly together, coming face to face with the existing face of this part. Finalizing the magnetization of the common shared body of the set 3 weapons on its front size, I have fitted and glued in place a 12x12 disc magnet. This magnet of this size fits perfectly in the existing hole, like this. Now this whole piece is ready regarding its magnetization, and we will move forward to the shields and the weapons. Next, we move to this shield here, which is common for the flamer and impulsor weapon options. In the videos that I have watched online, other modelers just decide to go with only one choice, either the flamer or the impulsor. Here we will see a method to use both on the same shield. We can achieve this by individually magnetizing the shield itself, and then also individually magnetizing the flamer and impulsor options. To individually magnetize this shared shield is a bit tricky, as it requires to fit in the open space in the middle and glue together two magnets of different sizes. As you can see here, I used an 8x2 mm magnet glued in the free space in between, and right behind it I glued another magnet which is a 10 by 1 millimeter disc magnet. The replacement requires a bit of attention as the shield does not have a lot of depth, so using thicker magnets will lead not to having a perfect fit when all the pieces come together. And let us see what the various options and assemblies look like. So let us start with the flamer option. We have the weapon main body. We can attach its individual accessory. Then we have the common shell shield fitted in place. As you can see here with this choice of magnets, we have a perfect fit, no gaps or whatsoever. And then we have the flamer in front, and this is what the complete flamer assembly looks like. Strong magnets everywhere, perfect fit, exchangeability, individual accessories, the shield, the flamer, everything in place. So now let us move to the impulsor option. We keep the shield in place. We can place the individual accessory and the impulsor in front. Again, perfect fit, trouble-free assembly of all the pieces, and strong enough magnets to hold the whole assembly and structure together without falling apart. And last, let us move to the cannon. The cannon option has its own individual shield. Actual magnetization here is pretty straightforward. We just glue at the cannon's individual shield a 12 by 2 millimeter disc magnet, like this. Just glue it in place, very easy assembly, nothing out of the ordinary. And then we are putting the cannon in place alongside with its own, say, individual accessories, like this and like this. You see, again, perfect fit, easy assembly, strong magnets to hold everything in place. And with this we have finalized all the options for the one hand and fully utilized the common shared body, the accessories, the shared shields, etc. Next, we will move to the options of the other arm, which are more straightforward, and we are going to demonstrate how to magnetize them also. For the other arm and its available weapon options, things are quite straightforward and easier. Again, same top assembly as the right hand that we firstly demonstrated. This is the common piece. And for this arm we have two options. We have the power claw and the Gatling gun. The Gatling gun assembly has its own full dedicated assembly, nothing out of the ordinary. This piece will be glued together, and the only part magnetized is this top part, where I have glued in place again two disc neodymium magnets, 8 by 2 millimeters, which provide a very nice full concentric fit with the top side of the arm. Again, the same applies for the power claw option. Again, two disc neodymium magnets 8x2mm glued together and fitted in place in the existing hole without drilling or modification, same as here. As you can see, the magnets come flush to the surface, providing a perfect concentric fit with the top part of the arm. So, by demonstrating this, we have finalized all the weapon options and their accessories. Very straightforward, very neat. And then we are going to move to the top-mounted weapons on the top side of the armor. Now, for the weapon options mounted on the top side of the armor, the carapace, things are quite easy and straightforward. There are two weapon options, one anti-aircraft gun and two variations of a rocket launcher. Both weapons share the exact same mounting base on top of the carapace. So there, without any modification or drilling, I just glued in place one 5x2mm disc magnet, the same I did for this part here, which I have already glued. And on the top side of the armor, the carapace, I just glued behind here at the center of concentric with this hole here, a 12x2mm big disc neodymium magnet. So, by doing so, I can mount both weapons very easily. See, not going anywhere. The same applies for the rocket launcher. Strong bond, not going anywhere, and also I am able to fully rotate both options. Now, because the rocket launcher offers us the ability to use two different kinds of missile options, let's say, and I want to use them both together, what I did, I just glued in place inside here a bare rectangular metal part like this. This is a 12x12mm one. Just glued it here, but beware, not flush to the surface. Make it about 5mm to the back, and then for each part here, just in the middle, I glued one 8x2mm disc magnet. So with this option, I have full interchangeability of the two rocket launcher versions, smaller ones and bigger ones. Very neat, very easy. You see that the disc magnet is almost going into this counter sunk hole in this metal plastic bit, and I can easily place it here. Very strong bond, again, smart assembly without drilling or destroying the part. One last option that I forgot to show you is this chainsaw bit here, which is again quite straightforward for its assembly, as once assembled it only requires two 8 by 2 millimeter neodymium disc magnets to be fitted straight away in the existing hole and glued together. And this is also compatible with the left arm assembly. Again, very straightforward, very easy to do. So, summarizing, the main takeaway from this video is that by following this method, you can fully utilize all the available weapon options and their accessories, as well as achieve full 3D motion of the body, thus posing the knight as you see fit by smartly using magnets of different types and sizes and without heavy modifications of the plastic parts. The magnet combination used create strong bonds, which is important as these magnets are capable of holding onto the weight of the attached components in any given pose and stance. Again, when assembling, keep in mind about the polarity of the magnets to avoid making any mistakes. Because we are dealing with magnets, keep in mind not to place the magnetized knight near sensitive electronic equipment and health devices such as laptops, credit cards, heart pacemakers, and etc. I hope that you enjoyed and liked the video and found it interesting to take ideas to help you with your own builds. If you have any comments or suggestions, I am happy to hear them. So until the next time, cheers and have a good day.